Good evening and welcome to Undoing I Do with Stephanie and a Day. I'm Stephanie Hunnell, the owner of the Hunnell Law Group in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and your co-host for this evening.
And I am Adela LaSherilyn Dow, the owner of the law offices of Adela LaSherilyn Dow in Staten Island, New York. Stephanie, hello. Happy May. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
You
Hopefully
too.
our fans forgive us. Hopefully they do when they hear this content that we're about to
I
broadcast. But
mean,
first, I have to give you a shout out because you just won a really amazing
oh,
appeal.
thank
Proud to
you.
you.
Thank
Proud
you.
to you.
It
You
was a
know,
long time coming.
yes. And the award that your client got is amazing. And I hope that we'll be able to bring it to everyone to explain exactly how you did your magic.
Yeah, I'd
And
love to talk about it. We've actually probably talked about it like as I was going through the thick of it many times on the show.
yep, but the reward and award has come. And it's
Yes,
some good money, y'all. So
it is a
stay
good
tuned for
one.
that. So when I posted this, a couple of my clients said, "Ooh, might not be able to watch because it is a trigger for me." So just letting you guys know right now that this is our trigger warning. If you have been the victim of domestic violence or you're suffering from domestic violence right now, we are scrolling the National Domestic Violence Hotline number right at the bottom of our screen. But you are going to be in for some really interesting conversation tonight about
Johnny Depp and Heard. So, first of all, I want to say also, I think we're probably, my intention anyway is to keep it pretty light. So, and I don't want anybody to also think that we're making light of domestic violence because I know I am a little bit obsessed with watching some of this trial and some of the things that are coming out from it. Not just from a legal perspective, but just from like a juicy gossip kind of perspective.
Mhm.
So just understand that we understand the importance and the severity of domestic violence and whatever might come out of my mouth, please forgive me.
Yeah, I mean, look, all of this apparently stems from the domestic violence that Amber claims she suffered, and actually that Johnny claims he suffered throughout their marriage. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that always gets people who are not attorneys is how people stay for so long in domestic violence situations. Look, we both represented clients. I did a trial earlier this year where my client was a victim of domestic violence prior to even getting married. And the marriage still took place. And that's something that happens all the time. And some of the commentary that I'm seeing from people is, if any of this were real, then I don't understand why they would have gotten married in the first place. But, I can tell you that that comment it's not invalid, but it is something that people say all the time. And it's often that this type of thing happens.
Yeah.
It's far more often than people would think that people
Yeah.
get married, even when they're the victim of domestic violence.
One of the most, at least in my mind, egregious cases of domestic violence where I represented a woman in a divorce. She was the victim of domestic violence prior to the marriage, and they were married for going on 18 years. So, and it was happening pretty consistently throughout the marriage. And he suffered from a disability, and then it became a different kind of abuse. So it was physical before, and then it became more psychological. And when that shift happened, that's when she actually woke up more to wanting to get out of the relationship. It was the physical stuff that was happening throughout, which started out small, didn't impact her as much as it did once it became psychological.
Isn't that something? I
Mhm.
mean, we all heard that adage, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words,
Mhm.
whatever. And I'm telling you, the mental abuse that people go through, is oftentimes more traumatic than the physical abuse. And I think that's because it often causes people to then start to mentally abuse themselves,
Mhm.
right? So you have the abuse going on twice. You're getting mentally abused by your partner or significant other, and then people start to internalize that mental abuse and start saying the same stuff to themselves, thereby re-abusing themselves.
Mhm.
So, But with this trial, okay, first of all, shout out to my staff, shout out to my entire team, because all of these ladies, Aliona, my paralegal, Caroline, my client care specialist, and Louie-Ann, my associate, were like, I can't believe you're not watching this trial. What are you talking about? You're not watching this trial. I wasn't watching it until a week ago, and then I just couldn't get enough of it.
Same. Same. I started watching it when he was. I started seeing it, all these gifs, whatever you want to call them, like the little clips. And it started with the hearsay stuff, where the video of him where he's waiting. He's like, oh, yep, that's hearsay. Okay, I'll stop talking now. And it was really funny. So that made me start to get interested in it. And then I became obsessed with it. And I was watching it like in the background while I was doing things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's become a slight obsession. And now they're on break, and so I can actually regain time. But apparently while they're on break, I heard that Johnny Depp is actually in Europe, but he may be at his French island or something. Apparently he owns like an entire village in France. And I'm like, when I was listening to all of the wealth that these people have, I mean, this dude, they're talking about this one house, and she's like, yeah, but he really owns the whole block. What do you mean he owns the whole block? What do you mean, ma'am? How do you own a whole block?
And the 5 penthouses where he like the entire floor.
That is money, okay?
Yep.
5 penthouses, and then they all connect through different. I mean, come on, really?
But just moved her friends in.
Right? He just moved, like, oh yeah, sure, they can stay there, no big deal. What? I need to find people like this. I need to know these people. But anyway, here's the thing. I'm on the fence. I do not know who to believe, because these people are amazing actors, and I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. They have their friends testifying. Johnny had like his whole crew testifying, and everybody's saying that Amber was beating Johnny up. And I don't know who to believe. So I'm not taking sides today. I'm not taking sides because I just.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Team Johnny for right now.
You're Team Johnny.
But I also haven't seen all of Amber's testimony. Here's one thing that's just bothering me about her testimony is she's consistently emotional throughout. So there's the smallest thing she's emotional, the bigger thing she's emotional. And so it makes it difficult for me to actually believe that she's really as emotional as she is. And hey, some of these things that she's describing, there's pretty significant abuse, if that is true, what happened. And I'm not downplaying that is an issue, but I find it hard to believe. Who's Rosemary? She divorced the wrong person.
Well, shout out to Rosemary.
Hi, Ro.
What's up, Rosemary? But maybe I don't know. Did you realize there was the wrong person? Because whatever Johnny is accused of is crazy, Rosemary. I don't know. It's real crazy.
There's a lot cutting the finger off. I mean, there's some crazy writing things in blood. I mean, there's some really
what is
crazy
going on?
Allegations.
Now we're writing things in blood. We're writing things in, like, what did she say? Mashed potatoes. There was mashed potatoes on the wall. Oh my gosh, this is too much. This is way too much. And this is the thing, this is my only problem with Amber, okay? If you're gonna like cry, then you should just cry. And because I don't understand, like there's this emotional outburst, but then I'm looking for the tears. Not that people can't fake tears, but it kind of sort of, I just don't know. I don't know what to believe. And part of this thing, I feel like I am just being taken along for a ride. Do you feel like that? And I mean on both sides.
Oh, it is like a reality TV show at a lot of parts of this. So, he's making jokes and they're like, it's like a reality show. So I do think there's some aspects of both of them that are not being totally truthful or being more actors than they are anything else. One of the things that's way too crazy.
It is so crazy.
It's all way too crazy.
What's going on? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
But I did say this. I said this to Rich, Rich is my husband, and I said, I don't one of the reasons why I don't believe her is because she was talking about all this abuse after he took, like, a bag of ecstasy and he was extremely angry. Ecstasy doesn't make you angry.
Yeah,
It
it
makes you
doesn't.
wanna be like, "I love you." Oh, yes, yes. They get
Allegedly,
all the
because we don't
happy
know.
vibes.
We don't have personal experience. We don't know. This is what we understand. Okay? Let's just
I've
clear
been
this up.
told.
This is what we've been told. So yeah, that's odd.
Mhm.
So one of the things that when you're looking at some of the YouTube chats, people were so upset at the experts. First of all, Johnny's expert, shout out. I don't know what her name was, but she was amazing. She was going in. She was going in on the stand. I would have had so much fun with her. Everybody knows I love a trial. But people were getting upset that the experts were making all kinds of assumptions and
Mhm.
suppositions. But yeah, experts can do that.
Mhm.
Experts have a lot of leeway when they are on the stand, and they can surmise what may have happened based upon situations that they are confronted with.
Mhm. Yep, based on their knowledge and experience, they can form an opinion based on what they've reviewed. That's what you're paying an
Mhm.
expert to do, is to give you their opinion.
That's
I
right.
do know that Amber's poor expert got, like, railroaded on the internet. I guess there's WebMD, she was just flooded with everybody saying how she hated men, and I mean, I don't know what happened with that post or
Well,
that page,
because
but
did you hear her testimony? Because okay,
I
so
didn't.
basically everything was the man does this, the man does that, and the woman is the victim. So she could have testified in more gender neutral kind of terms,
Gotcha.
but she didn't. And so it caused everybody to be like, oh, so you're just a man hater now, you're just against men. Now she tried to clarify that in on examination, and she said, well, I'm really just saying that because in this context the alleged abuser is a male and the alleged victim is a female. So that, I mean, that was a quick comeback for her, but I don't know if I believe her. I'm sorry. I do not know if I believe her. I think she should have said the victim and the aggressor, and people would have had less issues with that. But when I heard the testimony, she was only characterizing a male as an aggressor.
Mhm. Which
And
is really
from the facts, it's very clear that Johnny is saying that she was also an aggressor. So she really should not have used any kind of gender term. She should have been gender neutral.
agreed. And by the way, from what I'm seeing, it can be true that both of them have been abused and abusers. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because one person, was injured in whatever altercation, that the other one wasn't injured in a different
Right.
altercation. They
Mm-hmm.
they could just both be toxic people and have engaged in this toxic relationship where they both abused each other.
Yeah, and that happens all the time, and it doesn't matter who started the abuse, because if you're an abuser, you're. I mean, even if you were doing it in terms of some kind of retaliation, the thing to do is probably just to leave the relationship. And in this situation, it's not like anybody was poor. It's not like,
Mhm,
in a lot of our situations that we are dealing with, you have a abuser who is also the financial powerhouse, and you
mhm.
have the victim who is less moneyed. And that's a reason why people stay. In this situation, we do not have that, because I mean, Amber might not have been able to afford a whole village, but I'm pretty sure she could have gotten some house somewhere,
Right.
you know.
And she had
So
resources and a network of people that she could have been with, because she had family and friends living at that penthouse where she
mhm.
can we talk about the poop on the bed?
Girl, I didn't even hear this. I didn't even hear the testimony, but I'm just like, what in the world? What's going on? What's going on? Once again, I just don't understand some things. Because did you see that testimony? Did she say,
Yes,
did
I
he
did,
say
and that was
why?
a
Like,
first for me, that she was gonna go to Coachella, they got in this huge fight, he left, Johnny Depp wanted to come home, and his, assistant or whatever, house manager was like, "No, I don't think it's a good time for you to come home," and he said, "Why?" And he sends Johnny this picture of human feces on his side of the bed.
I mean, like, what happened to the good old cow's head or the fish? Like, what happened to that? What happened to that? Was Goodfellas, right? Was that Goodfellas? Was that movie Goodfellas where they put the horse head or something in the
Oh,
bed?
no, The Godfather.
Oh, The Godfather. Oh, how can I forget? That's my favorite movie. Anyway, What happened to that? You know, like what?
I just know it takes dedication to do.
You know, Heidi, I thought you said you wasn't watching because, girl, no, you did not lose your chance. Girl, don't let me hear about that. She said, just kidding. Shout out to Grandma Kim James. That's my daughter's godmother mom. Shout out.
Hi.
So she said, agreed. One would think that the experts are professional and would be familiar with how testimony should be presented. Right.
Yes.
And that talks about, that goes to the gender neutrality of it all. I mean, yeah, I don't really understand how she thought that she was going to leave cross-examination unscathed with that.
Yeah.
I don't understand how she thought that.
I think that goes to the heart of some of the testimony or the legal team on Amber Heard's side, because I do think they have not been as polished as Johnny Depp's side of the aisle. And when you hire an expert, you want to make sure that that expert is capable of giving their testimony, great testimony, and they're not going to be impeached in the way they are. They're not going to be attacked based on this thing. And in this case in particular, they also have all of the PR issues that are going on behind the scenes, because it's not just about this trial, it's also about their careers and making sure that they're going to be able to get work in the future. So their perception of who they are in the public matters as well. But yeah, I mean, those kind of gender neutral pronouns, I think, would have been really important to have in an expert.
I agree with you, but yeah, I don't understand the poop in the bed. I feel like there might have been other ways to get, points across. But then, I mean, she actually, when I was listening to the testimony, she was actually speaking about a sexual assault. And,
Yeah.
It was hard for me to listen to. That was really hard for me to listen to. And I have tried so many of these types of cases, not on the criminal side, but of course on the civil side, in support of clients' applications for orders of protection. And that part was really triggering for me because, how do you suffer to this level and be able to function properly? I could understand then that if she was suffering to this level, I could understand the mental breakdown that might have led to her acting out in the manner with the poop on the bed and all this stuff. I mean, because she wasn't in her right mind.
Right.
Just wasn't in her right mind. And then, how culpable are you then? Well, this is a civil case. So yeah, you're going to be pretty culpable if you start doing things like that. The question about this whole case is who's right. And if it's a defamation it's a defamation suit. And the bottom line is that if Johnny can prove that everything Amber said is not true, Johnny's probably going to win. If he can prove all that, because defamation is based upon whether somebody said something that's truth or not.
Yep. Exactly.
And I mean, his witnesses were pretty credible. Look at the private nurses. First of all, Mama Kim, can I get a private nursing situation? What's going on? Mama Kim is a nurse practitioner. Can I get a private nurse? Because these people are living their life. Hi, nurse, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I feel a little bit flush. Can you please come? she's like, yeah, I'm down the hall. I'll be there in a minute. Private nurses. Oh my gosh.
I didn't see that testimony. I didn't see that one, but I did see the sister and I did see the house manager. Yeah.
Yes, Amber is taking a beating in the court of public opinion, and her team, as well as her own behavior, is the reason why. And let me tell you something. Do you know what I thought was crazy? Did you see the examination that Amber's team tried to do of Johnny's mental health professional, his forensic? And they were getting all into her because she had dinner at his house. What? Why are we focusing on the fact that this lady had dinner at his house? Let's focus on some higher level stuff. So what? So what that she had dinner at his house? How else was she going to be employed? Is there like a parameter? Like if you're going to go for a job interview, you can't go to your employer's home to have dinner?
By the way, we also have to look at who we're talking about. I can't see Johnny Depp going into a therapist's office and be accosted by the paparazzi. I can see her going to see him.
Right.
Nobody's following her.
Nobody's following her. They don't know where she's going. They have no idea as to what the deal is. So of course, it's a lot more safe for Johnny to have this woman come to his place of residence. Then it was a problem because the woman's husband dropped off like muffins or something. And it's like, oh, your husband knew that you were going to be meeting Amber Heard because he dropped off muffins for Amber. Can we really? Is this, you didn't prep for your case? This is all we got?
Then the house manager, when they are asking him about whether or not he got any gifts from Johnny Depp, and they were said, "Did you get a gift?" So I think they said, "Did you get gifts worth more than, or did you get gifts worth at least $3,500 or something?" And he was like, "Oh, a lot more than that."
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I got
$3,500.
watches. I got, they're like, "Why does that matter?" I've been working for him for years.
Right. Johnny is about, hello, we just said that Johnny owns a daggone island, a village, a whole village.
Yeah.
Of course, $3,500. That is nothing. What is that for Johnny? Johnny's
Nothing.
like, 35. He don't care about $3,500.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Mama Kim said,
Oh,
I heard testimony that Amber is schizophrenic. Okay. We do not know. We do not know.
who gave that testimony?
Who
Was
gave
it?
that testimony, Mama Kim? Listen, Mama Kim, you better let us know who gave that time. I didn't see that testimony. But woo. But there's a lot of drugs. Like, wow. So much drug. And people are like, does this stuff happen in real life? Yes. Things like this happen in real life. The problem is that, most of us don't care about everyday people's lives. And the other thing is, most everyday people do not have all of this money to do all of this stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
There's been many cases in DV court with, people coming in because they've been binging on drugs, alcohol, whatever, and they've been abused, and they're abusing other people. Like, there's just, it's a very sad situation, and I've seen it. It's also with family members too, where sons are living with their parents and they're becoming abusive because they're on binges and haven't slept in 3 days because they're doing whatever drugs. And those things happen. Nobody's listening to that testimony. We're not hearing about like every minute detail. They're also letting the testimony go on for a significant amount of time where I don't think that's normal.
Yeah.
He testified for 3 days. I didn't think all of that was generally necessary.
Okay, so that's another thing. Okay, so Mama James says, a psych professional I thought said, okay, so I'm gonna have to look this up because listen, that's a lot. I wonder if it was Johnny's psych professional who said that she had schizophrenic tendencies or something.
Maybe.
I have to look that up now. Now I really want to know because I didn't see her whole testimony, and I'm gonna have to roll back the tape on that one. But yes, the length of this trial, people, trials, this is weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And this judge gave them a heck of a lot of time. We do not get all that time in trials. And so any of my clients who are watching, like, Sherilyn, how come we couldn't do that? Because our judges are not giving us all of this time. These are famous people. Okay.
There was so much there's so much testimony that I was like, this is a half an hour going on about nothing that's relevant at all. I don't understand why there's one, objections to it being relevant or not relevant. And then two, the court saying, okay, let's move on from this. I do think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that when the court broke last time and they're taking this week, that they said you get X number of days. We're hearing closing arguments on this date of the 26th, like drop dead. That's what the date is. That's
what she said. She was like, homegirl, shout out to the judge. Homegirl was like, this is how many hours you've used. This is how many hours you've used. And Amber, by the way, you might want to go ahead and get an attorney who knows math, because this woman was out here talking about, no, that's not the right amount. Listen, I don't trust her. We all say that attorneys become attorneys because they don't do math, but I don't trust no attorney who can't figure out no time. Okay. All right. Okay. So Lynn Downs says, shout out to Lynn. Thanks for watching. Lynn Drowns. Okay. Borderline personality disorder. Okay, Lynn, come through with the information because I could buy that. I could buy that because her testimony was very suspect for me. Very suspect. And her testimony did bother me a little bit because I just didn't know. I couldn't get a bead on her. And all of this, see, Kim James says her behavior in court is suspect. But Johnny's behavior in court is suspect too. Have you peeped Johnny like doodling? We can't see what he's out here pretending to read. Homeboy has on glasses. First of all, you know that would not happen in any of our
Never.
courts.
Mm-mm. You would never get to wear sunglasses in court like that. You would also not get to joke around the way he's been trying to joke around and make, kind of these little digs and stuff. That wouldn't fly either.
That would not fly.
No.
We can't do that. And he's all leaning down. You know he's sleeping. You know that way he goes like this. He's totally nodding out. Over here doodling. I know he is probably sitting up there drawing unicorns or something. I don't know what was going on. I'm like, Johnny, we can see that that's not, you're not regularly writing, Johnny. Okay? Nobody tapped him on the shoulder. And this is the other thing that bothered me. How come they got bottles of Coca-Cola? We can't do that.
No.
It better be some Poland Spring up in there.
You get to bring a water bottle in, and that's about all you get. You can have soda. You can't have every. Yep.
Who gets soda in the daggone court? They don't even give us any water sometimes. You have to bring your own water.
By the way,
Johnny's over here coming in like the private entrance, like the judge's entrance. He's over here blasting like Queen or whatever is going on. This is so unrealistic. Don't anybody bring any Coca-Cola to court, okay?
Nope. Do not. No, you can't even bring it in. By the way, I don't even know that the sheriff's officers would let you through there with it in, like coming inside.
And are they frisking them? Like, are they going through metal? I need to know more.
I don't know.
They're over here being whisked into the side entrance. Okay, Heidi says, I listened to when she was begging him to stay and not end it. And he was so cold to her. I've been there and it made me sad, triggered me to hear her beg him. So did he abuse her and push her to sound desperate and crazy? That's possible.
When you're with somebody for a while, yep. When you're with somebody for a while, they know exactly how to push your buttons. And since both of them, and I think maybe on both sides though, because when each of them were recording each other, I kind of got the sense, like when she was recording him, that she was pushing him and trying to be like very sweet and getting him to like become more angry, and vice versa. And I think that he probably can do the exact same thing if he's recording her to make her sound crazy. So
okay, so this is the thing about recordings, people, because so we get clients in who will say, I have a recording of all of this, and we're like, okay, so what happened prior to this conversation? Because when you press play, what had you said before that? Because some judges are now hip to this and they're a little suspect. Okay, so you just happen to have the tape recorder there. Like, if there's a whole bunch of silence prior to all of this, then it starts to be more believable. But if you just start egging the person on and then press play, you better hope that the other person doesn't have a recorder going on too.
Yep.
Because you're probably gonna get caught in that. So Lynn says, I'm sorry he never recorded her. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what was possibly said. Not that it would be an excuse, because even if somebody tries to push you into hitting them, we've all heard of people saying, oh, you're gonna hit me? Hit me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a setup. That's not right. That's not right. So, but we don't know what happened.
You could tell sometimes when they're narrating also in the recording, when they're like, oh, why are you coming at me aggressive? Like, how many times have you heard that?
How many times have you heard that? How many times have you heard that? It's true.
And the other person is like, what are you talking about? Oh, you're right in my face. I mean, it's a setup.
I'm like, okay, I cannot use this. I cannot use this tape. I cannot use this, because if I can see through it, you best believe that the judge is seeing through it. So Lynn says that's what he was doing. That's what she was doing. Yeah, I could believe that. I just don't know. So she says it was all her trying to set him up. Yeah, I mean, see, Stephanie's team Johnny. Stephanie is team Johnny on this one. So I know Stephanie's probably going to co-sign on that statement.
I am.
Yeah.
But having said that, it's not that I don't necessarily believe everything that she's saying. I do think that there's abuse going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that she's saying are so far-fetched and so not far-fetched. Some of them are far-fetched, like the whole writing on the blood is just absolutely crazy and insane. But some of the descriptions of some of the abuse, I mean, it's really it hurts. It's,
Hmm.
especially the sexual abuse, that's,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, really damaging, and, yeah, if that happened, and I'm not saying it didn't happen, you know, that I don't know. But
So
other
can you?
things that she does make me think that she's not credible overall.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's some of this. I believe that there was abuse going on. I believe that there was abuse going on both sides.
Mhm.
I just don't know what the extent of it was. But I
Oh, it's
believe that these are both really toxic people,
yeah.
and they both had upbringing issues. They both have substance abuse issues. And anytime you put those things together, you're going to have a conflagration. It's just a matter of time, as far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned.
And those kind of people find each other too. If you find each other, if
Hmm.
you're a toxic person, that's kind of who you draw into you. So it wouldn't it's no surprising that they find each other that way and then feed off of that energy and become worse off for it, which is sad. I mean, look, if this was a restraining order situation, they both would get like companion restraining orders against each other.
They would. They would.
But this is a
They would.
civil defamation case, so it's different.
And so Kim says abuse on both sides. Do they have children? They don't have children together.
No, mm-mm. Johnny has children with
Thank
his
goodness.
yeah, yeah.
Johnny has kids. Johnny's kids are older. Johnny has
Mhm.
kids, and that was one of the testimonies that she was talking about. That they were having a fight, and that they had gone on vacation together. I think they went to the island somewhere like Bahamas or something like that, and they had this big fight, and she was afraid that the kids were going to hear them fighting, and she was concerned about that. But yeah, thank goodness, because listen, everybody knows I have kids. I love kids. Kids are a blessing. Steph loves
Mhm.
kids. But in this situation, when these people come through our doors, the first thing we want to know is whether you have kids. And at
Yeah.
that point, we're like, "Ooh, thank goodness."
Mhm.
Thank goodness, because this case would have been completely outlandish. Their divorce case would have been outlandish had they
For
had kids.
sure. Yeah, for
You
real.
know, yes, some of it, but come on, where there were no bottles involved. Oh gosh. Okay, Lynn. But yeah, all of that testimony was a lot. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I kind of sort of think that Johnny's team is doing a better job
Mhm.
at presenting their case and discrediting these witnesses.
Mhm.
I think that Amber's team is going for like this low hanging fruit. I don't think they're organized. I'm not sure where she got them from. And these lawyers charge a lot of money. So
Yeah, and, even just some of the basic stuff with handling the objections and getting frazzled and having that prep in advance. The one attorney, and I can't remember her name off the top, but when she was objecting to everything, hearsay, 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 uh, whatever, I forget, misstates evidence, like, she was going in on the
she's going
objections.
in.
I think
She's
she did
going
was
in.
doing a great job,
She's
and
doing
then
a great job.
yep, and then it became to me, there was a point where I was like, "Okay, now you're just, like, abusing them," because there's being objections that were being sustained that probably shouldn't have been sustained, but
They
the
probably
attorney
should.
couldn't think fast enough. It's like the attorney was like, "I can't argue against the objection," it was bad, yeah.
When she said, "I don't understand," I'm like, "Ma'am, do you need to go back to law school? Do I need to send you this objections book over here? I know I'm in New York, but miss, come on. Let me send you this book right here. Let me send you this book." She's like, "That's not hearsay. They were talking to each other." Ma'am, it's hearsay. It's hearsay. Come on. We can't just go saying everything.
Yep,
People think that hearsay is a statement that you hear from somebody else that you then repeat. Like they just think it's blanket like that. No.
mhm,
Hearsay is really intricate, and it's basically any out of court statement that
mhm,
is made for the proof of the truth of the matter asserted. So,
right, yep,
you and I could be talking right now. We get into court and somebody's objecting. Oh, that's hearsay. Oh, but she was talking to Stephanie. Yeah, okay, it's still hearsay.
Right. And there might be you might be able to overcome a hearsay statement. There's certain exceptions to that rule. But you have
Mm-hmm.
to know what those exceptions are in order to get the evidence in. If you don't know what those exceptions are, and a few times I saw her or heard her just saying, it's not being offered for the truth. Not it's
So
not
what
offered
are
for
you
the truth.
offering it for, ma'am?
Yes,
Ma'am.
exactly.
So a lot of attorneys do that crap, right? Like they're, oh, but it's not being. So what? Your client just sitting up here lying. She just saying something that she don't want the court to believe. Really? Come on, please stop. Please stop with the B. Please stop with the BS. I mean, come up with an exception, okay?
Yes.
Statement
Have the
against interest. We're talking about any kind of records, that these are records that are kept in the ordinary course of business. That it's an admission. That, come on, there are several. Okay, Kim is saying. Wait, hold on. We got to go to everybody's comment because these are so interesting. So Lynn says, oh, she got a restraining order against him, and then she begged him to go to his hotel, and she wanted to sleep there. And that, yeah. So this is okay. Who does that stuff? Mad people.
a lot of
They do
people.
this. So many people do this stuff. You would just not believe. We go into court. People are like, oh yeah, I got an order of protection against, and then they show up at the person's house. Oh, but I just wanted to talk to them. You have a whole order of protection.
Mhm.
We just handing this out like candy? No. This is serious.
Or they show up to court together.
They show up. Oh my God, that is the best. When they ride together to court, it is the best. We're like, what's going on? Why are y'all in the same car? Heidi, you're gonna have to explain this to me. I wonder what artwork hangs on Amber Heard lawyer's walls. Wait, okay, Heidi, you're gonna have to explain that to me. Was there something that I missed about the artwork? Is this a reference to Amber's art? Because you heard about that, right? Like Amber had a whole art studio, and then he allegedly like blacked out the art and stuff. Did he put mashed potatoes on the art too? I don't know what this meant.
I think he did put some kind of food substance on it. I don't remember if it mashed potatoes or something.
Oh my gosh. They didn't prep her, is what Mama Kim said. Now, Mama Kim's daughter is a badass criminal and family law attorney in Suffolk County. Shout out to Latoya, my boo. No, they did not prep her, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like she's over prepped though, because sometimes it just doesn't seem right.
That could have something.
In her case, you know what, Heidi, be quiet. Okay. I never remember. Heidi. So Heidi, okay, Heidi is not a fan of artwork that was in another lawyer's house because it was very weird, and it was on a virtual court setting, and it was like Wonder Woman art, and we weren't sure what was going on. It was like Wonder Woman, and then it was like a skull or something. It was just weird. But yes, yeah. Not a good look. Not a good look.
No,
We'll see what happens. I think
yeah,
Johnny's probably gonna win. I really do, because
So it resumes next week, right? I think the testimony resumes next week with closing arguments on the 26th or something.
So here's the other thing. Okay, this is my last thing, but this is my last thing, I promise. How are you gonna tell the jurors not to listen to anything? Hello, everywhere we go, we hear about Johnny. Everybody's talking about it. What are the jurors gonna do?
Unless they're sequestered, they're going to hear everything about it.
And I don't think they're sequestered.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I'm
sure they're not sequestered. Look, I don't know. Johnny might have to be renting out his French island. He might have to be figuring out he might have to sell one of these blocks that he owns.
Poor guy.
I knew he was rich, but I didn't know he was rich. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, he's got that Pirates of the Caribbean money.
He got that Pirates of the Caribbean money. Got that Edward Scissorhands money. Okay.
Definitely not the 21 Jump Street money, because that was
not. But that was a bummer. Oh, I forgot about that.
I love that show.
21 Jump Street. I remember that when I was a kid. Okay. Let me not age myself. But yeah, this show, well, it's not a show, but this trial has been show-like.
Yes, it has been like a reality show.
We just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And again, remember that we represent domestic violence victims, so we take domestic violence very seriously. If you or anybody else that you know is having an issue with domestic violence and you need assistance, reach out to a trusted friend, family member, the police, reach out to the domestic violence hotline. It's the national number that's up here. Oh my gosh, okay, so we still have comments coming in. With Amber's lawyers, it's like a comedy show. Even the judge wanted to laugh. Okay, that's not a lie. That's not a lie. The judge didn't want to laugh. Okay, wait. There's a question. Is she supposed to talk to the jurors? What I did watch, she seems to be talking to them directly and not to the attorney. Okay, we have to address this.
Yeah.
We have to address this. And you're welcome, Mama Kim. You are very welcome. We aim to please. Okay. That is a good question. And I noticed that several of the witnesses were doing that. They were talking directly to the jurors. And sure, I mean, it's a jury trial. So the judge is only making decisions that are procedural in nature. She's not going to make the decision on the overall case. And so perhaps some of these people were told, you need to convince the jury, so speak to the jury.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's a good look, honestly. I personally would not have directed my client or witness that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think making eye contact, maybe when you're going on to the stand at a couple of points throughout your testimony, it's okay. But I think overall, when you're answering the questions, you should be answering the questions directly to the looking at the attorney who's asking the questions. If the judge interrupts and asks a question, you should be looking at the judge when you answer the question.
Right.
And that's how your focus should be. I think if you're focused too much on the jury and speaking to the jury, in my opinion, they're not going to look at you as being very genuine.
I agree with you. You look like you are a snake oil salesman person, snake oil salesperson, to be gender neutral. And
the jury's watching every minute of that. I mean, they're really paying attention to that kind of stuff. So they know if you're trying to, like, when you have the crying moment and you happen to just be looking only at them, I think that at least if I was sitting on the jury, I would be like, that's suspect.
Manipulation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Manipulation. That sounds like manipulation to me. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, you just glance out, that's one thing. But Amber was like, it was too much. And the same thing with her forensic. Her forensic did the same thing. I did not appreciate it. And
I think almost for sure with the experts involved and the professionals that are given testimony, they shouldn't be paying much attention to the jury at all. The jury is just there listening. They shouldn't be pandering to the jury.
So I was a little annoyed at Amber's forensic expert because she was being asked questions and she was acting like she had never even been in a courtroom before. I don't know if you saw her testimony, but she was like, she was reading from her notes and things like that. And I'm like, what's going on, ma'am? How you don't know you're not supposed to read from your notes?
Yeah.
What? And
I don't think did they ask for her notes? Because if you're testifying, I mean, and you're reading from notes, then the other side is absolutely allowed to have a copy of whatever you're reading from. That's why you never have your witness bring in notes. You don't want any of that stuff there.
And this is what we're talking about, Lynn. We're talking about her psychologist. I mean, and I know she's from New York and everything. Shout out, because you're from my city. But no, I didn't like it. I wasn't okay. I wasn't okay with the fact that she just seemed, and she was qualified. They qualified her as an expert. And apparently she has testified in hundreds of cases. And
oh, really?
But it did not come across like that at all. She wanted to read. That's right, Lynn. Okay, Lynn is, girl, you better do it. Bring it back to Lynn. She was trying to testify directly from her notes. Ma'am, did you not prep the night before? How do you not remember any of this? This is a huge trial. You have never had a trial bigger than this, and you don't remember anything? That's why I don't believe they should have done. They should have done better. They needed to do better. They needed to get the lady with the cupcakes or whatever her husband brought, some cookies, whatever he brought, muffins, whatever. All right, we could talk about this all night. Thank you all so much for watching. Big up to you for the engagement. Share, like, Look at our YouTube page. Talk to you soon.
See you in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye.